All right. Well, here we are. Thursday, 22 May, 2025. I hope y'all have had let me find my show notes, because I know I got stuff wrote down to keep me somewhat on track until somebody decides that they'd like to send me a message. And that's not what I wanted to see. Uh-oh, what have I done? Lord. That's what? Oh, that's YouTube Studio. Y'all bear with me. I've got myself discombobulated here. And I'm just trying to find. Nope. I got myself discombobulated, y'all. There we go. That's the one I will do. And then I got. Whoop. I don't need this anymore. I'm getting closer. Is it? Yeah, y'all been watching me piddle around for a minute now. I appreciate your patience. I thought I was ready to go though. I mean, that's why I was even messing around with the old Mando. I thought things was ready to rock and roll. And then I punched the buttons and I get all kinds of crazy stuff looking at me. Oh, come on, man. Come on, man. Alright. Hope everybody had a good week so far. Crazy weather. Man, we had a storm come through the other night. I told my wife the next day, I said, if you had to imagine back in the day when they had no electricity and sometimes only the light of a fire, trying to survive in the wilderness here, and those winds blowing like that, I bet that was could be in some people's minds, drive them to obsession. Anywho, I think we got it now, boys and girls. Sorry about all those delays. Let's see, I found my notes. Okay, so greetings. You know what? One thing else I didn't do, I need to put my it's not my logo. Even though I put the parameters on it and I thought it was appealing, so I claimed it. It's not necessarily all that important to me. I just get another one. It's just an expression, man. Just an expression. Hey. I got another one. It just doesn't have the lightning bolt in the forehead. And the skeleton, the background is mountains, but they're kind of like Rocky Mountains. And I was kind of thinking I'd like to have something more like the Smoky Mountains, and I didn't get anything in return that appealed to me in that fashion. So I don't know, man. I just dig it. I like it. That's what's important. No, well, it may have some symbology to it about feelings and outlooks and things like that. But to me, it does. And that's a big old long drawn out discussion. What are is it Mexicans of the Day of the Dead? That's kind of cool. Anyway, I think we're supposed to be doing greetings. Still don't see anybody out there joining us in the old chatmobile or whatever the thing is, the chat bot, the whatever, when people can make a response. I hadn't seen anything like that, and I don't see anything in my connection of anybody being on yet. But like, I'm going to be hopeful. I've had a great time. It's sometimes just getting ready to do something like this requires a great deal of effort. For the return that you might get on it requires some expense, and you could fabricable something together like I've done, and it's relatively, you get by with what you get by with. You look for stuff that you look for what you need first, as far as video and audio, and then you shop those needs. And sometimes it's inexpensive, and sometimes you can make some sacrifices, and sometimes it works in a pinch, but as time treks on, you realize, hey man, it really isn't any good. And I still work at that all the time. But just getting ready, getting the software to work together, learning how to make scenes, how to get the audio out of my mouth into your ears via the internet, writing some kind of script, writing down ideas, trying to just express what things have came to your forefront. So that's kind of cool. And I talk about it every week about the name Rabun County Rag. It's an old ham radio term where they would get on a frequency and they would talk to each other across regions or sometimes across continents and exchange information about how they lived, where they lived, and what was going on in their country. And so that's kind of what I'd like, whether it's just here in this local community or if it's a group of like-minded people. It's an opportunity for us to get together and express how we feel as a group of like-minded people. And it may take a while to develop. It may take a long time, but we have to be able to talk about things that's important to our culture and talk about what the benefits of our kind of culture is. Strange. Anyway, that's I don't know if that's part of the greeting, but it leads into segue. Well, anyway, it's who we are. Now, it's just me out here right now, but one day, there might be there will be more on here, even if it's some Looney Tune from some direction that nobody even fully understands, and expressing wild and crazy ideas and wants to have a place to bounce it off of somebody, then I guess that's fine with me. Now, there may have to come to some limits based on, if people don't want to participate with that, he should respect it and maybe occasionally try to have a conversation and build an idea. But, to do something foolish, man. Why you want to do that? We trying to be friendly around here. If you're going to act that way, man, I don't know how to do it. Anything, but I'll do it politely. You're no longer welcome in this community, and you go change your handle, and you can do whatever if it means that much to you, and you're that big of a Looney Tune, man. I don't know. I hate to disparage anybody, but I'm looking for a word that fits the scenario, and there ain't one that I'm aware of. Somebody could probably enlighten me, and it'll just lead to another 2 questions. So I thought, what were we talking about? Anyway, excuse me. But chewing the rag, finding out who people live and who we are. But here's how I defined it. We are a community of like-minded people with common interest in hunting, fishing, protecting our families, community, culture, and environment. We exchange ideas, resources, and information. Why do we do that? We want to benefit ourselves. That's plain and simple. Whether it's need tutorial on English, or need bales of straw to mulch your garden, or if the community is wide enough and deep enough, then those needs will be recognized, and somebody might be able to take opportunity and start being an improvement to the community. I don't know. I was saying, and here's a note that I made today. First of all, let's make sure we're grateful about something. I had dinner with some family today, and that was really nice, and I broke away to come down here to do this thing. So I'm grateful for that opportunity to visit with them. Walked the grandson around a while, did some stuff outside, and showed him the horseshoes, gotten the horseshoes up. And he tried to throw them. He was throwing them all crazy. I can see he ain't quite ready for it, but he'd like to be able to do it. But I haven't thrown them with him yet. I've been throwing at the same distance. I showed him one time. I said, and so I'll let him play with it, and then I'll start if he wants to. Of course, I do. I've been making that a habit, is going out there. And it's only been a week, a few days, I know. But if I can make it pretty regular thing if I'm sitting here at the desk, like after this, and I feel like I want to stretch or exercise, well, I can walk around the house up a hill and go to the top area there and pitch some horseshoes. Now, I'm sure there's some real macho men out there, but you start throwing a 5-pound, what does that thing weigh? I don't know. You start throwing that horseshoe, and you got 4 of them since you're the only one there, and you throw them out to the other pin, well, you throw them back, and then you make a decision. Do I want to throw back out there and walk back out there 2 more times? Well, that's the goal. Man, I'm maintaining my regular walking and stretch and flex and all that, but instead of just standing out there in the yard and look at the mother nature do something, well, I've been working in the garden pretty good, so that's I feel every day, I feel muscles that hadn't been used all winter, putting vegetables in the ground. So I hope everybody's had something and to be grateful for. There's all kinds of things I can go on and on and on. I guess when you start looking for things to be grateful for, you soon realize that everything you look at, you should be grateful for. Let that sink in. Anyway, and back to the subject kind of a little bit, but I was thinking today, I said to self, with all this discussion of tariffs and all this stuff, to me, it reveals something kind of concerning. And what I would call it would be the basic necessities. And I'm not talking about importing from anywhere else but within the borders of our country. Necessities. Now, a lot of different people call a lot of different things a necessity. I understand that. But I know when you're trying to survive, the three principles that you should always have at hand is water, food, and shelter. And I know that we have the housing thing, but what about things like durable goods like shirts? Yeah, there's some manufacturers of shirts in this country. Yeah. And they're nice shirts. And I'd love to get my hands on some, but I'm still the Wally World kind of guy. If I see them in a thrift store, I'll buy them. But that's just me being frugal and me knowing I'll just ruin everything I put on with sweat or muck or something. But, yeah. Shirts, t-shirts, underwear, socks. Where all this stuff come from now? I don't think very much of it comes domestically. And then how about feeding who knows how many, 300, 350, 400 million people on the resources that are within the borders of this country? Can that be done? And which resource would be held at the highest value? Well, it's probably a toss-up still with me. I'd like for somebody to give me some guidance on it. But food or energy? Would you rather starve to death or freeze to death? I don't know. Well, that's tough decisions. Woo-wee. Lordy. I don't know. Anyway, but I don't even know if they make Timex watches in this country anymore. How about just a daggum wristwatch, man? A high quality, if Japan can provide me a wristwatch at a reasonable price with, exemplary performance and know that I can count on it and rely on it. That's what I need. I don't need see-through, see-no gears. I know how they work. I need to know what time it is. Time. And, of course, the date, but that's part of the time. Because, sometimes you've got a lot of things going on in a lot of different mindscapes. Anyway, clothing. What else? What else should we talked a little bit about food. We talked about the choice between food and energy. If you don't have either one of them, you're going to have to get your food with how far you can walk. That's a tough reality. And trucks ain't going nowhere. Ain't no fuel. Pardon me, I didn't mean to do that on the radio, on the darn internet. YouTube, I tell you what, I appreciate you guys letting me get out here for an hour. I mean, this is like using the darn telephone. It could be, maybe. I'm sure, you could get the Zoom and all that stuff, but I don't know. If I had a client company and they wanted the Zoom call, I could do a 40-minute Zoom call. But if they wanted a regular Zoom calls and additional time, we could get a longer Zoom. But if you need a longer Zoom than 40 minutes and your organization is under, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 people, it shouldn't be a problem. Anyway, I don't even know. All right, so how about shoes? Could you imagine 350 million people needing shoes? You wouldn't be able to find them in the thrift stores. People would hoard them in their houses. Homeless guy one time said, somebody asked him, what's the most important thing to you? Homeless guy, most important thing to him. He said his shoes. He said, if you take your shoes off, you use them as a pillow. I mean, that urban outdoorsman taught me a lesson. Man, maybe he's foretelling. Is John the Baptist? Lord help me. An urban outdoorsman? Last week we talked about, the past couple weeks we talked about the Bears' do's and don'ts. The one, mentioned the one about the one getting the bird feeder on my house. Well, they got into somebody's trash and strode it all over the place. It's, me and my wife learned that pretty quick up here. We keep the trash in the house and take it off on a regular basis. And those Snoopy dogs running around out here, I guess you could, I don't know, man. Yeah, and I'm bad about pouring grease and shit out. I bet that stuff does smell good. How far can a bear smell? 10, 12 miles. Smell that old fresh bacon grease. Anyway, and she said the neighbor saw it, and it was a mother with 2 grown cubs. Yeah. Yeah, I'm familiar. It's funny how you get familiar with bears like that, because the thing is, it takes a big territory for a bear. It's big. They don't compete with a lot of things. They just have to cover a lot of ground. And man, so it's not likely for you to see 2, what do you call the sows with 2 cubs each in one territory. You might. I'm not sure. If I'm wrong, somebody let me know. I don't know all that much, but that's what I would speculate. So if I'm wrong, man, I'd sure love to have somebody address me on that. I'd love to have the discussion. So with that reasoning in place, that's why I'm probably knowing that. So I think it's still the same one. Now you'll see a male bear come through every now and then, But I imagine their territory's probably bigger since they're, they don't have two cubs on the teat, so to say. They might have to get into a brawl every now and then to determine dominance, but Anyway, I'm going to run through it because if I can call it early tonight, I'm going to call it early. I got some guests. I'd like to get back with them. Guys, keep an eye on the litter bugs out there. Keep an eye on the litter bugs. If you see some, man, it's our place. It's our home, y'all. Visitors welcome. You're welcome. Please come visit us, but please take care of what we have. If you're not taking care of it, and I'm not taking care of it, nobody's taking care of it, and then we have nothing. Roads inaccessible. The only people that go up there are ne'er-do-wells. You can't enjoy it with your children because of all the trash and drug paraphernalia. We don't need that. But it's a culture. We got to develop it. It takes, community out. I don't want to be old political and stuff, but lead by example. If you're walking down the street, you drop a piece of trash, bend down and pick that piece of trash up, put it in your pocket and throw it in the trash can. That's all. Somebody see you doing that, guess what? They're more likely to do that. Anyway. Old spam calls ain't backed off one bit. I think they multiplied. That FBI thing, I think some of them are calling back to spread my number now so they can hear me do the FBI routine. I don't care. Turkey season over. Man, I walked around the corner the other morning, walked around the corner of the house, and I heard whoop, whoop, looked like a helicopter taking off. I'm thinking a daggum Huey or a battleship. And turkey taking off going up in the woods. I've seen as many as two together, and so I scrounged around and found the old box turkey call. Man, I don't have it with me. This one's two-sided. It's got wood on one side and a piece of slate on the other one. It was made by Loman. I don't know whether it came out of China. There's no other marks on it. Don't know nothing about it. I haven't been able to find it on the internet. Not one like that. So I need to get some chalk. It needs chalk bad. It's not barking right. But I got out there and I was, and because I heard one way off in the woods anyway. I was messing with it. I hope the turkey season's over. Of course, we're going to see them everywhere now. They'll come up and feed out of your hand. Bass fishing still continuing to go pretty good. I've seen and heard. I hadn't done much fishing, but I've done a lot of walking around and enjoying and know where I could go if I wanted fish to get them, because I was doing the watching and learning. Garden. Some of the stuff didn't make it, but we still got a yard full, mostly tomatoes. So I went in the green room there and turned the heat on and planted some. I planted 6 corn plants, and I know that's not a lot, but I'm going to do the 3 sisters where I put a squash, a bean, and a corn plant in the same hill. And I'm going to do 6 of those. Yeah. And I planted some okra, 6 okra. I'm going to plant 6 okra right in front of that corn. And there'll be tomatoes interspersed in all that. I didn't do no tillage, no row. It started out with rows, but I just dug in. I didn't till the earth. I just dug a hole and planted in that hole and then cleaned out all the weeds. I need to again, but that's what I've been doing. And then I'm looking for empty spaces where I could put something in. I've got some standalone collard greens that are held over and some turnip greens that are held over. And I just told the wife we'd just leave those there until it's time to harvest tomatoes and they get in the way, and we'll get more seed heads out of them and and then when we gather them up, we'll spread seed in the garden. It's easy. Collard greens ain't that hard to weed out. And the other benefit to that is, me and the grandson was walking around the house today, And he turned the corner, and there was a bunny rabbit. And I don't know if I told y'all about it yet, but I've had this one out there. I'll go out there and take a leak, and he'll just stand there and watch me. Makes me a little uncomfortable, but and I'll stand there and look at him and talk to him, and then I'll go back in the house and I won't try and chase him or make him nervous. And we went out there out the basement door today, me and the grand boy, and he walked around the corner and he froze. And I said, "What is it?" And he said, I started to say, "That's a big old rat, man. That thing will jump on you and eat you." And I said, "Yeah, don't run toward him." I said, "Don't use your normal voice and don't run toward him. Just act like you don't see him, but watch him, and he's watching you. And he won't be afraid of you, and you'll get closer and closer to him." And he says, "Take a picture with your phone." And I'm like, "Oh man, I left my phone." And so he ran in the house and ran up the stairs and ran to his mama. And he was in there telling the story, and I walked in, and they said, "We'll go look in a minute." And I said, "That boy ran all the way up here to tell you about that rabbit that's in the backyard, and y'all tell him something like that. Shame on you." They jumped up and got with it. Then they realized what was going on, and they went out there. And I looked down the corner of the house. I said, "There it is on the corner," and they couldn't see it. And I walked right over to it. Kept looking out in the field, and I looked down in the corner. I said, "That rabbit's right there." And so they found it and started pointing at it. "Oh, it's cute, and it's cute, and it's all this stuff." I think it's a rodent, isn't it? Doesn't it have those teeth that grow all the... Sometimes it's just good being a man with sons and grandsons. But anyway, I think that rabbit population is due to my turnip population. I know that if I was a green-eating devil, I'd be interested. Anyway, I'm going to try and hop off here. It's old boats. And Memorial Day is Monday. I hope we all take a minute to remember what Memorial Day is really all about. And are we standing for the conditions in which they went to battle for? Are we upholding their convictions? I will. It's a terrible dishonor for anybody to not have faith in what those men and women have done for us in the past. Anyway, so when you're cooking your dogs, take a minute and remember. Look it up and read up on it. I'm going to do that as well. I want to understand as much as I possibly can about the meaning of Memorial Day and how it should affect me and my behavior and my beliefs today. And just to double check myself. I think I'm doing pretty good, but if I find something that's wrong, I will study on it and I will look for guidance on it, because I don't know why. I just want to know. Anyway, hadn't seen anybody, but I appreciate anybody who might scroll by. And I appreciate y'all stopping in and watching. And I'd really appreciate a comment. And I'd appreciate any of them little doogly deeks down below there. The thumbs up. What do they have now? All them little doogly doots down there at the bottom. I know what they are. I just can't call their names. But give me one of them things as well. I don't care. Thumbs down. You don't like it, that's cool with me too. I just want to see if you think it's stupid, then tell me you're stupid. Wouldn't be the first time. Then I'm going to sign off. But most of all, just really think about it. Have a grateful week. And I'll be back next Thursday night at 6. This is Scott, Rabun County Rag, and I am signing off.